Hello, this is Jeff Robertson, National Sales Manager with Penton Audio USA, and this is the first of a multi-video series on programming and using your Terra-Manager custom GUI software package. If you are installing your Terra-Manager for the first time, which I assume you are if you're watching this video, then there's a couple things you need to know. One is the Terra-Manager can be installed on any PC, and it's a Windows PC version 7 or 10 operating system. A couple of keynotes: make sure your PC has at least 1 gigabyte of RAM. The Terra-Manager, depending on your usage, can chew up a lot of RAM if you're doing a lot of paging and streaming and messaging to a bunch of devices such as a large school or a large facility. And make sure your processor is at least 1 gigahertz. Hard disk requirements around 500 megabytes, not too big. It doesn't take a whole lot of hard disk, but the RAM and the processing speeds need to be pretty beefy. Obviously, it needs to have at least one network or Ethernet port. You normally don't want to do this with just a wireless or a Bluetooth connection. And the other thing is make sure your Java is up to date. The actual newer Terra-Manager softwares will come with a kernel that will actually auto-update or install the Java for you, but make sure your PC has up-to-date Java. The other thing is node licenses, and this video is showing you how to launch your program for the first time and generate or request a node license, and then also import your node license, which is the two key things you need to do to get started. When you order or you purchase the Terra-Manager software, you get the software package, but you also have to buy node licenses. These are one time only. Once you buy one, you own it for life. Even if that device happens to go down or gets damaged and you replace it, you can even migrate the license from one device to another like device. So you never lose that node license, and you can add more node licenses down the road. Terra-Manager comes in two flavors, as does the associated node licenses. Right up here at the top, you see the Terra Schedule Ed. This is the Terra-Manager used with the educational market and our IP intercom system. And it has a specific node license, EDU for educational, that's used with that software. It has advanced bell scheduling, and it also has the intercommunications and the monitoring with the privacy tones and a lot of educational specific items. And since these type of facilities utilize a whole lot of endpoints, the node licensing price structure are blocked a little bit differently. So the pricing structure for the whole thing is set up for the educational market, as well as some of the features. If you're using this in a typical paging, emergency evacuation, messaging, mass notification type of system, then you want just the Terra-Manager software, and then you use just the Terra node, which is the node licenses geared towards the Terra-Manager. It still has scheduler and all, it's just not as centric as it is for the educational market, where they have many different needs with multiple bell schedules and zones and quick schedule selects and program routing that you normally don't find out there in the normal paging, mass notification, messaging market. So just be aware of that. If you have any questions whatsoever on which of the node or software packages to use when you're estimating or you're doing your design, please just make sure you reach out to myself, Jeff Robertson, and or Dave Chan, who's on the West Coast, or up in the Northeast we have Anders Strom. The node license is used for every single IP endpoint that will be connected to the Terra-Manager software, so it could be paged, messages sent to it, used for intercom and or just streaming and control. When you buy your Terra-Manager, you will always have a TK microphone if you're going to do any paging, messaging, and or intercommunications. If you are going to do anything to any remote IP, page, message, intercom, turn relays on and off, adjust the volume dynamically from the Terra-Manager, then you need a node license for every single endpoint. And that's what this video is going to get you started on. This is September of 2017, and the version I'm using is 2.15. We are continually adding new features and functions to the Terra-Manager, so just check with us. When you order it, it will be shipped with the latest, greatest version of the software. Now, when you actually install it, you're going to get this pop-up window when you launch the software. What you want to make sure is when you first start this, make sure you click on the trial radio button. Don't click on free, and you won't be able to import a license yet. Click on trial. Basically, it says you've got 10 nodes that you could play with right out of the gate, and you only have 90 days to use it. After 90 days, the software will lock you out, and you're going to have to import a license, or you're just going to have to uninstall it and reinstall it again. Click on Trial, and we'll click on OK. Once you launch the software, you're just going to see this blank screen. You're probably going to see Main Page up here in this drop down. You are in the user mode, so we need to go to the Edit mode. So go up here to the upper right and click on this little yellow gear up here, and you can see we're in the edit mode, and this changes a little bit. Go to this drop down menu where it says layout. The first thing you want to do is go to options. And when you're in options, and I will take this off, you may look just like this. And the first thing you want to do is where it says you can import a license and say OK, or you can say get license. And we're going to request or get a license. So we click on get license, and then all of this options show up right down here at the bottom. You can see right here we already have 5 paging and 5 intercom. That comes with the trial version of the system. So what you need to do is make sure that the Terra-Manager is installed on the PC that it will reside on and use for the system. The reason is because it automatically links to the MAC address of the PC that is connected to. The IP really doesn't make that big of a difference, but the MAC address is what the software is going to be linked to. So I always go for the licensed MAC. This is what I'm using on my PC, and also the NIC. This is what NIC card. So if you have multiple NIC cards or whatever, or you normally would not go wireless, whatever, but you can make sure you highlight that as well. And here are your nodes. You have 3 type of node licenses. You have BGM or background music, and that is used primarily for just streaming audio. So if you have a Terra-IEX encoder device and you are connecting, say, a satellite radio, or it's streaming off of a webcast or internet radio station such as Icecast, Shoutcast, or whatever, then you can set that up with a background music node. If you're just paging and messaging and controlling stuff, then you can set that up for a paging node. And if you're using this with the IP speakers or some of our door control stations, whatever, where you're actually doing two-way intercommunication audio, then that would be an intercom node. If you have any questions whatsoever, then all you need to do is just make them set up for intercom, because if it's a background node, you won't be able to page or do intercom to it. If you're a paging node, you'll be able to stream audio to it and page and send messages to it. If you're an intercom, you'll be able to stream audio to it for background music. You'll be able to page and send messages to it, and you'll be able to do two-way audio. If you use an intercom, you can make them all intercom nodes if you want. If we were doing a typical school, maybe I will have 2 IEX modules for program audio streaming. I got a satellite radio and maybe a CD player or an aux jack. Paging, maybe I have 4 Terra-EX modules that I'm just using for one-way paging and bells, emergency messaging or whatever, because they're common areas and exterior horns, the gymnasium, the cafeterias, whatever, where you're always one way. You're never going to do two-way audio. So let's just say 4 for that. And your intercom, maybe I have 250 IP intercom speakers throughout the school and the classrooms and all that I'm using. So once you enter your nodes here, just click on Generate License Request. And now this is going to create a file. And this is the file name with REQ. Save this somewhere that you know where the location is, because now this file needs to be emailed to your sales manager or to Anthony Medeiros up in Rhode Island. What we do then is we send this file to the engineers. And the other thing that we do is we check this file and we reference it to your invoice. So if you have actually purchased 200 licenses and we look at this license request and it says that you want, in this instance, 256, then we are going to contact you pretty quickly and go, you've only purchased 250 and yet you want 256 in this request. You need to buy an extra 6 licenses. And then we take care of that before you get the license back. So I'm just going to save this to my desktop so I know where to get it. I did this previously. So now all you do is on my desktop, there's the file. I just email this file to your sales manager and or Anthony, and then we take care of it. Now keep in mind, we actually send this file to the engineers at our corporate office. It takes them a day or two to turn this file request around and send it back to us. So do not do this in the morning that you want to do this, because we will not be able to get the file. It takes at least 1 to 2 days. And if you do it on a Friday, you're probably not going to get anything back till Monday or Tuesday. In the meantime, you can still do your screens and your maps and your images and your logos and all the other stuff. The problem is when you bring buttons in for different functions, you will not be able to map them to a device unless you have the licenses, and the licenses are already set in the system. So once we do that, and I'll turn this back off and I'll go back to the basic mode. Once you get the file back from us, which has your licenses in there, now you need to import that license into your Terra-Manager software. So once you launch your software, go back into your edit mode, and you want to go back to your options over here, go to license, make sure that your import license is clicked. It should be clicked already or selected, and just hit OK. Once you do this, it's going to look for this LIC or CTX file. The LIC file is what you should have from us. CTX is just your demo file that's limited on your nodes and days. I know I've saved mine here, so let me find my file. And there's my license, and here's my CTX file, but yours will be an LIC file. And we click on Open. And it says import success, please restart the application. So I will close out and I'll just say yes, because I want to save it with the import. And now when I relaunch my Terra-Manager, you should have all your licenses ready to go. And I'm still a trial because I launched a trial one, but when you get yours, you're going to be ready to go with your full one. And you can double check this by going to your edit mode again. And once you go to this, go to device. And when you go to device, this will have all your licenses that you've requested. If you do not see this, try importing your license again. It is a good idea to copy your license file just in case there was a mistake or something like that. You don't have to re-request it. You don't have to repay for it, but remember that. Now, you cannot take these licenses and put them onto another PC. You have to migrate the whole Terra-Manager software and licenses over to another MAC address of the PC. And there will be a video future on showing you how to do that. Now you're free to start assigning any of your licenses that you need for your various devices and your microphone right there. And once I do that, they all start populating right here. So that's how you know. So that is a brief instruction on how to launch your software, perform a license request, and then import your license into the system. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to us at penton-usa.com, and we have our support and emails up there, and also the contact information for myself, Dave Chan, or Anthony Medeiros in our tech support. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a terrific day.